The Lakers made no trade at the deadline and are going to focus on the buyout market. One name they are rumored to be interested in is Goran Dragic. If this rumor is true, then this just confirms that Rob Pelinka, the Lakers' general manager, has no idea what he's doing. Dragic is a fine player. He's a nice veteran backup point guard who would be helpful to certain teams. But he just doesn't make sense on the Lakers. First of all, he's unlikely to even come to LA. A guy at this point of his career is looking for a ring. So he's gonna go to a contender. And the Lakers don't look like one right now. They're currently in the 10th seed and are in danger of not even making the playoffs. It's a similar situation with many of the buyout candidates. All of these players want to play for something. They're not going to take a pay cut and join a team that could miss the playoffs or be a first-round exit. Now let's talk about his fit on the court. From watching this entire season, I think the one thing the Lakers could really use is more old guys. I'm kidding. That's absolutely the last thing that they need. So adding a 35-year-old Goran Dragic won't help this Lakers team. All the old guys the Lakers currently have are either breaking down physically and are missing games every so often, or they just simply suck. The bright spot of this season has been the young guys. Austin Reeves, Malik Monk, Stanley Johnson. They're the ones bringing the energy night in and night out. They have been the one positive out of this whole season. Other than LeBron, of course, and Anthony Davis in recent games. So the Lakers should be moving in that direction. They should be trying to get more youth. Get younger players that you can rely on to be available for more games and for more minutes. Take a chance on a guy from the G League. I mean, the worst that can happen is he ends up on the bench. And at that point, he would just be taking over the role of DeAndre Jordan or Kent Bazemore. But if things go right, he could be a key part of the rotation and could be a big part of the team moving forward. Dragic doesn't really address the Lakers' needs. At least his skill set doesn't fill the Lakers' biggest void. That is wing depth. Now, could the Lakers use a backup point guard? Sure. You could always use more playmaking, especially when your backup point guard, Kendrick Nunn, has been out the whole year, and there's no telling when he'll be back. But the Lakers' biggest weakness is wing defense. They're so small in that area, and they get exploited every time. So they need to focus on getting bigger, longer, taller players at that position. Ideally, you get a 3-and-D guy, but everyone in the league wants 3-and-D players, so they're all probably taken at this point. But maybe try to get someone of that size, around 6'6" to 6'8", that can either shoot threes or play defense. Maybe you get a guy from the G League or overseas, a guy like Rondé Hollis-Jefferson. Athletic, good defense, can't shoot for shit. But at least you have more options if you need to have a defensive lineup. Then you can switch to an offensive lineup when you need to score. Or you can try to get more players like Stanley Johnson, a player with decent size, decent athleticism, who can hit the three on occasion. Stanley Johnson doesn't really have an elite skill set, but the Lakers were in desperate need of that particular skill set in that particular size, and he was able to stand out and earn a multi-year deal after being out of the league. If the Lakers had a couple more Stanley Johnsons on their team, this would actually be a very solid roster. So I don't want to hear about the Lakers going after another old point guard. What we need is youth and wings. Now, if there's a veteran wing in the buyout market willing to join the Lakers, then they should make it happen. Maybe they see the Lakers' lack of wings as an opportunity to resurrect their career, like Stanley Johnson did. But more than likely, the Lakers will have to find a hidden gem outside of the league. Honestly, there's not much the Lakers can do to improve their roster at this point, but if they want to try, this is where they need to start.